I hope these last several weeks have been useful for you as you've explored your own relationship to boundaries. This week, we're going to start to look at what it looks like to set some healthy boundaries. And it's my intention that you discover a few immediate places where you can begin to put this into place. So we started off by looking at what are boundaries, and then we looked at why don't we set them, what gets in the way, and then we started discovering the cost of not having those boundaries. And hopefully if you dug into that and you actually did the work to discover and tell the truth about the cost of not having those in your life, and you might find yourself at a place where you're ready to do something about it, right? It's like, oh, that's, I'm paying a high price for that and I'm ready to make a change. So if that's the case and that's where you find yourself, then perfect. Let's talk about what it means to draw clear lines and put boundaries in place in your life. So there's a little exercise that I want to invite you into. And it's just going to be a looking at what is it that I am available for and what am I not available for. This works, this doesn't work, right? So take out a piece of paper, just a blank piece of paper, and draw a line directly down the middle of the page. And on the left side, title it, "This Works." And on the right, "This Doesn't Work." And I invite you to spend a couple of minutes actually filling out this paper now, right? Just make a list. This works for me. It works for me to have respectful, engaging conversations. It works for me to be on time and for people to keep their agreements. It works for me to have clear offerings and that those offerings feel resonant and true for me. It doesn't work to have ambiguity. It doesn't work for people to disregard my time or for me to disregard anybody else's time. It doesn't work, and so on. So take a few minutes to do that now. Okay, now I invite you to look over your list, particularly at the column of what doesn't work. And as you look over that list, identify one or two things that really jump out to you and circle them. Okay? So maybe as you're scanning through it, you just notice one has a little bit more of an emotional charge to it. Circle that one. All right, what did you find? What are the one or two things that feel very clear for you don't work? This doesn't work. Okay? That's where we're going to start on setting some boundaries. Now that you've identified one or two things, I want you to ask the question, what action can I take to implement a new boundary? What could I put in place to ensure that I don't have to put up with what I know doesn't work for me? So take a few minutes now and explore that question. Just brainstorm. What's an action that you could take if you were really committed to having a clear boundary and not being available for whatever it is you identified on your list? Just to continue sharing from my own example, the thing that I identified is it didn't work for me to be unclear about who I would or wouldn't work with, right? And the action that I immediately saw available, thanks to some coaching, which is always helpful, but the thing that I saw was immediately available to me was to be in communication immediately as soon as I recognized that someone wasn't a fit. Right? So that would have looked like the hypothetical conversation, which I've then had the chance to actually practice now with other people interested in work, which is to just say, look, I don't think what I'm offering is a good match for where you are right now. Let me tell you some things that might make a difference for you and point them in a direction that would really serve them. So it doesn't work for me to try to force possibility on someone. And it doesn't work for me to try to like convince them that they're powerful and they can create the life they want. If they're not ready to hear that, they're not ready to hear that. And I'm not, it doesn't work for me to try to be the one to shove that possibility down their throat. So the boundary for me was to be in communication as soon as I see it's not a good fit, and be willing for people to not be a fit. You know, that's, as someone who's building a business like and wants to make a difference for people, both, you know, I want new clients and I want to have an impact for her. But not everybody's going to be a fit, and that's okay. So that was a clear line too. It was just like, some people fit, some people don't, and that's okay. And it really works for me to work with people that fit, and it does not work for me to try to make something fit when it doesn't. What clear action do you see that you could take to put a healthier, stronger, clearer boundary in place in your life? All right, I definitely want to hear from you about this. What did you discover? What is it that you're committing to doing? Right? So it can be really powerful to share these sorts of things with people. So I invite you to just reply to this email, very simply say, I am making a commitment. I am available for, or this is what works for me, and here's the action I'm taking to support that. And let me know what the clear boundary is that you're putting in place to support the kind of life you want to live. Thank you for joining me on this little adventure. Next month, we're going to journey into another topic. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next week.